not uploaded the last two salons because,
Because it's August. Because I just want a sweatshirt that says because it's August.
Yeah, I know. It is. It's the end of summer. I'm feeling like just the energy drained from my existence. How are you doing?
I'm good. I learned a few years ago that the last 2 weeks of August, it's like the kids have been home from school for 3 months. Like work is the creative world is sort of anyone who's on sets and shooting in August doesn't really want to be. I feel like everyone just kind of like deflates a little bit. And I've just given up on the last week of August. Like I live near the beach. I go to the beach. I've been playing with Laura's. I did 8 hours of playing with Laura's yesterday, just sitting and stable diffusion. I'm just giving up. So I'm good. And look what I made with ID. Well, we're going to share it later. I should have
the co-host. Can you let me?
Ideogram. So I just did that before.
We're going to be talking about that tonight.
Yeah, so fun. Make some cool stuff.
Anne's here from Oregon. We'll do intros in a bit.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody. This is the AI Salon. If you want to talk fancy, it's the Salon.
Salon de AI.
Salon.
It's the AI Salon.
Bonjour. It's the Salon de AI.
We have a European on the call, so I gotta go Salon.
Yeah.
How do you say salon in Dutch?
That's a good question. We would say salon.
Salon. Okay. See.
Salon. Yeah.
Sounds so cool when you
Something
say
like
it.
Exactly. So Lee and I started this group back in December of 22, when all of this generative AI stuff was new and shiny. And the idea is that we wanted to get together people who were curious about this stuff, but hadn't necessarily figured it out because we hadn't necessarily figured it out. And the more that I learn about this, the more that I know that no one's got this figured out. Everyone's trying to figure it out in real time. And so that's what it's about. It's a fun group of people. And if you haven't joined, we have put the invite to the Discord in the channel. We're gonna have a Discord activity tonight. Because why wouldn't we? We have a Discord server. Let's do the activity.
It's Discord crafting.
Yeah, we're gonna do some AI crafting tonight. It's arts and crafts night here.
Arts and crafts night at AI Salon. Got my macrame and ID, whatever it's called. I'll put that link in too.
Yeah. And one of the things that's really important to us about this is that it's a place where anyone, no matter what your experience, whether you've been developing language models for 10 years or you were like, I heard AI is going to take my job, what do I do? Wherever you are on that spectrum.
With that voice.
You're welcome here. And yeah, so we actually have a set of values. So I'll share my screen, Leah. Maybe you can walk everyone through. I just think it's important to
our values are why we're here.
What we're all about.
That's right. So our values, right? Our values here at the AI Salon. Curiosity, right? We are eager to learn new things. We're here to ask questions, experiment. We're here to play, right? We're curious. Bring that here, because I think when we're all curious, really cool things start to happen. Generosity, we're willing to share our knowledge, resources, and feedback with others and to support each other's growth and development. There's so much to learn, we can't possibly keep up. Even if it's obvious to you, it might not be obvious to the person next to you. So share as you learn. We have learned that we are all having our own AI experiences and becoming sort of experts in our own tiny little world. I don't know if expert's the right word, but when we start to share that with other people, that can help us all become better adventurers. Exploration, we're excited to try new things, take risks, and embrace uncertainty and ambiguity. Act as if no one knows what they're doing because no one knows what they're doing. That's true. Collaboration, we look for opportunities to work with others, to exchange ideas, and to create something greater than ourselves. Find a partner or a posse, start a project, start 10. We won't judge you, and who knows, you might just make a friend or the next $1 billion venture. We are all here to share and to get to know each other. Drop links into the chat, connect on LinkedIn, and of course, join the Discord and continue the conversation there. Let's see what we can make together. Inclusion, we actively seek out and value diverse perspectives and experiences, recognizing that our differences make us stronger. We create an environment where everyone feels seen, heard, and respected, and where everyone has the equal opportunity to contribute and succeed. The more backgrounds we have and the more differences and experiences we have, the more we're going to learn. Empathy, we're mindful of the impact of our work on others, and we strive to create work that is respectful, inclusive, and meaningful. AI is one of the most transformative technological advances in humanity. Humans matter. Take each other in. Act from a place of compassion. I feel like this empathy is at the core, and there's some weeks that empathy feels like a little extra shot of empathy to keep things going. So.
Yeah, I think, empathy is the one for me that feels the most important because, as exciting and transformative as this stuff is, it's exciting and transformative, which means, it's going to force a lot of change. It's going to force a lot of people to deal with stuff they might not necessarily want to deal with, right? And so, understanding that, some people come into this world, angry or fearful or, some combination of the above. Some people come in all excited, but understand that this stuff's wild. Yeah.
And I think that I really, really love the part about being human, right? Humans matter. And I think that it's becoming more and more a much louder discussion lately that I'm really sort of holding on to. Like, what is human-made art? What is AI art? How do we decide? Like, where's humans? Who's making human art? What's happening? So I felt a little bit out of sorts with AI and in defining what human art is in context of AI. And I would love to get a temperature or a sense from our group about where you're thinking about AI and what the potential is. And I think that when we do intros tonight, I would like you to introduce yourself and give me like one word that's a feeling about how you're feeling about AI right now. One word or two words, like just a quick, how do you feel? I feel scared. I feel curious. I feel excited. I feel disillusioned. I feel hopeful about where you are with AI, because I'd be curious about where other people are.
All right, good. Yeah, that's great. Is Ken here?
I don't think so. I don't think Ken's here tonight.
Okay, so Allie, are you there? Allie, so.
I can watch time while we do intros.
All right, you want to do the time? So okay, so here's what I'd like to do. Leah will be the timekeeper tonight. We'll start with the online folks. So what I'd like you to do is raise your hand. It's the little second icon from the right, the little hand raise icon. Raise your hand. We'd love to have you introduce yourself. So just tell us who you are. Tell us, what you do. Maybe why you're at the salon, and then as Leah said, kind of what's the one word that sort of encapsulates where you are with AI right now, or what's the word for AI right now?
Yeah, and we're going to give everyone about a minute, and after about a minute, I will we'll wrap it up just so we can get everyone intros, and then we can talk about things more in depth later on.
Great.
Okay, so we'll start with Claire. Claire.
And you're muted, Claire.
I'm unmuted. Okay, hi. I'm Claire Jacobs. I'm a psychologist over in Texas, and I am excited and intrigued. Sorry, that's two words. About AI. It's so different from what I do in my day-to-day routine. So I'm looking forward to see what it can add to my life professionally, but as well personally. The art part of it really appeals to me. So I'm just really excited.
Fabulous. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Claire. Okay, Anne Murphy, you're next. Oh, you're muted.
Hi, everybody. I'm Anne Murphy. And the word I would associate with AI right now for me is trust. It's not necessarily a feeling how I feel, but it's the thing that where I'm the most hopeful is that those of us who are AI adventurers can lean into AI to build trust among our communities, our neighbors, our families, our colleagues, our stakeholders. And that's what's been on my mind the past couple of weeks. And I have Kyle Shannon to blame for this whole thing because his nightly TikToks are my gateway drug. And now I spend all my time on AI nerdery. So thanks, Kyle.
Excellent. AI nerdery, I love it. Thank you, Anne. Welcome, welcome. Serena.
Serena Polici.
Serena. Excellent. Okay, great.
And
Welcome.
like Claire, I'm also from Texas, but I'm like Anne living in Oregon right now. And I'm a school psychologist, so I write tons of reports. And I'm hoping that AI is going to do away with a lot of that drudgery for me so that I spend more time doing the things that I love to do. And more importantly, I'm also Amelia's wife.
Ooh,
Yeah.
excellent. Excellent. And one more.
Gotcha. Everybody needs to put their Twitter name.
I couldn't change it on here, so.
Okay, Serena, what's one word?
Excited. I'm really excited about it. The changes
great.
I seen as being positive for my work.
Fabulous. Okay, thank you. Eric Rowland, you're next. Okay, Jeff Gray, you are next.
I was going to use excited, but it's already been used twice. So I am fascinated by AI and every day of the changes that are happening. And I'm very excited to see what the next 6 months brings. So I'm very fascinated by everything that's going on.
Excellent. Welcome, Jeff. Happy to see you here.
Thanks.
Peter Kaminsky, you're next.
Thanks. Hi, all. I'm a longtime friend of Kyle's, and I feel bad. I haven't been here for a long time. I was here at the beginning of the year, kind of, when it used to be the AI Art Salon. I got busy actually with AI related stuff, doing business stuff, and
Cool.
finally I saw Kyle's ping in Discord this week, and I'm like, I got something to show. I got stuff to say. So. So I'm glad to be here. My one word is blessed, actually.
Blessed.
AI isn't the best thing in the world or the worst thing in the world, and it's scary in some ways, but wow, being alive and being able to use these magical things, it's like, wow. And I'm using it for productive stuff and artistic stuff, and I'm just having a blast. Thanks.
Excellent. Welcome. We're so happy to have you here. Bob Donegan. Donegan?
Yep. Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
So I guess my one word would be irregular.
Okay. Excellent.
So Kyle, now you can put a face to my. So now I know what Amelia's wife looks like. So, and my other word would be insomnia. Unfortunately, the difference in the time zones of 2 hours makes it so my wife thinks I'm watching porn all the time. So yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So that's the way
you're here.
I'm a baby boomer who loves turtles. So those are for the regular people here, so they'll understand all that. So it is unbelievable how much I've learned from all this, and that I think there's a lot more to learn. So I'm excited about it. I've started some other businesses, and I'm one of those people that's had ADD since before you were allowed to know what it was. So
yeah, excellent. All right, welcome. Thank you, Bob, for being here. Ty.
Just a little bit of context, Leah. So the irregulars, that thing. So the people that show up to my TikTok lives every night, they've named themselves. It was actually Emilio's wife, I'm pretty sure, has named them the irregulars.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
very
on
cool.
many levels they are irregular, and so they've
Okay.
infiltrated. So
There's the irregulars. I love it.
and
Yeah,
if you need any way to tell time, you just have to tell Kyle knows when he has to stand or walk around, or his butt will be talking to him. So
excellent. All right. Moving down our list tonight, Ty Pat.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You sound great.
Cool. Ty Patterson. I'm a software engineer out in the San Francisco Bay Area. On TikTok, I go by Frumple. So just joining here to network, listen in, see what new opportunities I might be able to find. And my one word, that's hard. Illumination and intrigued. I mean, I just love what this is reflecting in terms of my own interest in neuroscience and how the brain works. And I'll leave it at that.
Fabulous. Welcome. We're happy to have you here, Ty. Doug.
Doug from Kansas City, work in business development and strategy, and my word would be revolutionary. AI will transform humanity in the next 5 years more than the cell phone, smartphone, internet did in the last 25 years.
Excellent. Welcome. We're happy to have you here. Beth Lyons.
Hey, I'm Beth Lyons. I'm right outside of Washington, D.C. I am inspired, like super inspired. Kyle was one of the first people I found on TikTok talking about AI in a way that made sense to me. And I'm a new AI ops consultant, but I am part of a panel that does a daily live stream on LinkedIn called the Daily AI Show. So
amazing. And I want to encourage everyone here to make sure in the chat you put down things like this, links where we can find you, Twitter handles, TikTok handles, any way that we can stay connected to you outside of the salon. Sander, you are next.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm Sander. I'm living in the Netherlands. My words would be, let's say 2 words, curious and curious to educational purposes, to call it like that. Yeah, so I've been getting into AI through the current business that I'm working with, having used it since it came out a little bit as well. And then I found Kyle, and I was like, "Ooh, this is a very good guy. I like that."
Well, welcome.
Yeah.
We're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Rowland.
Sorry, I was muted before. My apologies.
It's okay.
Yeah, so I'm here. Actually, I'm using like something that Kyle gave me is part of my work that I'll talk about later. But yeah, I'm really doing a lot of work around prompt engineering, and excited to talk about it later.
Excellent. Welcome, Eric. Eric Sanner, you're next.
Sorry, I had trouble unmuting. Hello, everyone. I am frustrated or excited. So I'm excited and frustrated.
Frustrated or excited.
I'm constantly thrilled at the possibilities, and then I'll spend 2 hours doing something that I know somebody else is doing in 20 minutes. But that's just the nature of learning.
Yeah.
So
excellent.
I'm excited to be doing it here.
Excellent. Welcome, Eric. We're happy to have you here. Retropunk AI.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Patrick Milady. That's my handle is Retropunk. I am a creative technologist. I live in New York. I've been in the advertising industry for 20 years. I'm nervous and excited about it. I love it so much. It changed my life. I was a front-end programmer for years, got burnt out. And then when I got on the Midjourney and DALL-E waiting list about like a year and a half ago, my life got turned upside down. And now it's AI all the time, every day, every night, and on TikTok with Kyle.
Excellent. Welcome.
Thank you.
Signs and graphics.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tobias. I'm here with my wife, known as Plus One, is OK Farmer. We really enjoy the nightly TikToks with Kyle. Have learned so much. I'm a graphic artist, and I apologize I don't know how to change the name on there, but I'll change it for next time. But we enjoy this so much. I think our word is overwhelmed. Kyle brings a lot of intuitive information to us every night, and we appreciate that a lot. My moments have been with Adobe Firefly, and of course with Midjourney. I just still shake my head and hit my forehead when I see what it does in front of us. What would have taken me months to do with either a paintbrush or a digital paintbrush. So I look forward to learning from you all and seeing what all we can go from here, see how it grows. Thank you.
Awesome. I think you're going to love our arts and crafts activity later. I think it'll blow your mind. Okay, Drew, you are next. Drew's up.
Hey everyone, I'm Drew Shockley. I'm in Chicago. I am a web developer, and I guess my word early on with the late autumn doldrums, I would have said complacent, but I feel re-inspired already. I'm excited to re-inspired, yes.
Nice.
Okay, fabulous.
What's that you re-inspired these days, Drew?
What's that guy? I'm sorry.
I said, what's got you re-inspired?
Oh, just conversation and everybody talking about it. So I'm eager to be re-engaged with everything. So
nice.
It's nice to have you here. Erica Parker. You're up.
Wow.
Yeah. So I am here in Colorado. I actually know Kyle for years and years, and I kind of got involved in like the salon and stuff earlier this year, and was fascinated and was drinking it all in. And then I kind of took some time out, spent the summer with the kids, away from the job market, and then I'm sort of dipping my toe back in the water. And it feels like every time I'm away for a month, I have to relearn everything because so much has changed. So yeah, it's a little bit curious, a little bit intrigued, but a lot of catching up to do to kind of bring me up to speed. And I just kind of have to keep watching what Kyle does, because every time I watch him, he gets so excited, I get excited. So.
Well, we're happy you're here. Christopher Blake, you're next.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm from Chicago, working in advertising, doing animation. I do like Nerf-sided. That's a good, but I think after everything was said, connections comes to mind, because obviously connections here, but also in the way I'm looking at how programmers and other people connect ideas. It's fascinating to me. So connections is my word.
Excellent. Welcome. Happy to have you here. Joey, you're up.
Hey, thanks. So my background, I guess, on the AI thing is I've been doing it since January of this year. I owned a tech business that did websites and mobile applications and things like that. We just rebranded to be completely focused on AI. I'd say one word for AI. I would say one word for AI, ambivalence is probably what I would say.
All right. Good one. Excellent.
Which for any, real quick, I don't know if anybody doesn't know what that means. It's just a state of having like mixed feelings, I guess, or contradictory ideas about it.
I think it's an excellent. I think it sums it up very well. Awesome. Thank you, Joey. And Kay Hudson.
Hi, Minneapolis. So I work for a big corporation who's kind of dabbling into AI. They've been doing it behind the scenes, and I have to communicate about it. So I'm a communicator. And so I'm very curious. I'm an evangelist, all those things that everyone said. But it's also very emasculating. Even though I have a big D energy, it's very emasculating, humbling. So I'm just trying to dabble so I can play a software engineer on TV if I ever need to.
Excellent. All right. Fabulous. I think that is there anyone else who did not introduce themselves?
Anyone else online wants to introduce themselves? I know you might be shy. You can go camera off if you want to. Just raise your hand. We'll do around here in Denver. If you want to introduce yourself, if you feel inspired, would be great for the rest who haven't. But here we go in Denver.
Hi, my name is Jane Endicott. I am an organizer and a content writer for the salon. Really excited about tonight's meeting. for the first time. We're doing a show and tell where we get to present some of our projects that our members are working on. I would say my one word is awestruck. Kind of like combines that like excitement and terror that we often talk about in our meetings, and just like how big this whole thing is.
Fabulous. Thank you, Jane.
Are you doing?
I think you should. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Hi, this is CJ, graphic designer and generative artist based out of Denver. Graphic designer for the ARC, Jefferson County, and generative designer for City and Siege Designs. And my one word phrase would be synergistic synergy.
Synergistic synergy. Okay.
Like it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if my camera works.
I think so, but we okay. You over to it.
Hi, I'm Brad. I'm here in Denver, and I am a product designer, product strategist, run my own agency. And the word that actually a song came to mind, but I'll phrase it up of just survive. But I don't know. The second I heard it, I was thinking of the "I Will Survive" song in my head. First I was afraid. But I think it's going in so many different directions. It's really just survive today, get to the next one, learn something new, and see how everything kind of unfolds. So,
awesome. Amazing.
Roger.
Hi, I'm Roger Scott. I'm here in Denver. I live up in Boulder. I'm a retired software engineer. Just a tiny bit of AI to the very tail end of my career. Been a lot more about it since retiring, and through this group and other meetups and the like. I'm interested in both the deep technical aspects of it, and since being part of this group, the creative aspects of it. I've been fun with the various generative tools, and glad to pick a word out there. I'm going to pick effervescence.
Nice.
Effervescent. Okay.
Solid word. That's awesome.
Okay.
I had to pick their words.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
I would like to make a request now that everybody has said their word, and we can do this for the Denver folks. If you could put your word into the chat. So the word that you said, go ahead and drop it into the chat. We're going to use it for our arts and crafts in a little bit. Everyone just drop it in. And if you, I can read them too, but go ahead and put your words in. Okay, cool.
Beautiful.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I wanted to talk about two things before we get to our presenters. But I'm going to turn my
do we want to introduce the art and craft too, so people can work on it throughout the salon?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about two things, and the second one is the arts and crafts tool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So let me share my screen. Let me share my screen here, people. So the first thing to talk about, you likely have heard, but I think it's worth putting out there. Yesterday, OpenAI announced ChatGPT Enterprise. So this is, most of the companies my company works for, like big pharma companies, and they were sort of not touching this stuff with a 10-foot pole unless they were sort of doing it through the Microsoft Azure sort of back end. So this makes ChatGPT available to the enterprise, which I think is really exciting. So for you, Roger, here's what they're talking about. This includes is prompts, customer prompts, and company data are not used to train OpenAI models. That was a biggie. Data is encrypted at rest, which SOC compliance. Large-scale deployments, so they're going to have an admin console with bulk member management. I assume that also means permissions. So the big deal about that is, you don't want the administrative assistant to necessarily see the same spreadsheet that the CFO does, right? So that becomes a really important gating factor for these tools. single sign-on, domain verification, analytics dashboard. And then the actual usage down below, GPT-4 with no usage caps, higher speed performance, 2x faster, unlimited access with advanced data analysis, formerly known as code interpreter. So they have renamed it to advanced data analysis, which I think is interesting. Because I've always said I thought code interpreter was a really bad name. It's accurate, but crappy. 32,000 token context window, shareable chat templates. So I think that sounds to me like prompt libraries. So you'll be able to have corporate prompt libraries, which I think is interesting. And then free credits for their for the API. It sounds like shortly they're going to also be releasing the ability to train ChatGPT on your own data as part of this offering. I don't know any pricing on it. That's all I know so far. So I just wanted to share that. Does anyone know more about it than what I shared here? Any thoughts on this? Okay, Bruno, you work in a big company. Your big company diving into this stuff?
Not that I've heard.
Okay. Yeah, it's 2 days old. So big corporations.
Yeah, not that I've heard.
They're going to take a week or two.
Yeah.
Okay, Eric.
Yeah, so actually the thing I'm going to talk about tonight, it's a big deal for that because I'm handling healthcare information. So I'm building a bot that answers questions about healthcare benefits for an employer. And so, it's critical because I'm going to be I'll know what their salary is and how many children they have and pre-existing health conditions and blah, blah, blah. So, we're already planning on using the Azure hosted version, but they're applying and trying to figure out this enterprise version. Obviously, you have to be careful with people's healthcare data.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a big deal. Okay, great. So anyway,
how do they guarantee you say these things? How do you guarantee it right where someone's willing to risk hitting a lawsuit?
This is what we'll find out. I mean, this is the joy of being in the spit and duct tape part of the industry, right? This is, we're just early. So, I would say the thing that's a little promising here is, they do have the partnership with Microsoft. So I assume, that Microsoft's behind a lot of the security, but I don't know. We'll see. And what Eric's talking about tonight, points to some things like how do you get these things not to hallucinate? If you actually want to be able to GPT things, but actually get the correct information, that's a challenge. Okay, so just know that's coming. Oh, the thing I was going to say, this is where things start to transition to getting real. Like before, it was like this exciting tool. It was a good productivity tool for individuals. Now that starts to roll in, it starts to get real. And I think to your point, Roger, like if they screw it up, people are going to stop using it pretty quick.
Well, I think also too, I was listening to Paul Rotzer's podcast today, and he was talking about like some statistic how like 80% of companies they don't have anything AI, they don't have any policies, they don't have anybody using it. It's like there's nothing, they don't have anything in the pipeline. And This is going to open that door, and it might take some time to get off the ground, but once if OpenAI can customize ChatGPT for a business, that's when we really start to see the change happening with people's jobs, with productivity, with efficiency, and that number is going to go down, eventually. And then I don't know. I think there's some really big. Once people start using it, it's going to be big. Yeah. It's going to monetize ChatGPT. It's going to be a moneymaker.
Yeah. So fascinating times. Okay. So Leah, if you would pop the Discord invite into chat, just so it's right at the bottom there. So for everyone here, if you don't have an account on the what's it called? The Salon, the AI Salon. If you don't have an account on the AI Salon Discord, go there, join the Discord, and then I don't know if you've seen this yet, but there's a new image generation tool out called Ideogram or Ideogram. I assume Ideogram is right, but the company Ideo is stuck in my head, so I call it Ideogram. So I don't know what's right. But Notice anything interesting about these images? They have words. They have letters. So this is the first that I know of. Well, that's not true. If you go to clipdrop.co, the stable doodle where you can sort of draw a picture in stable diffusion and turn it into an image, that one does text okay, but this one really does text quite well. So what Lee and I are requesting, the arts and crafts portion of tonight is, while we do the rest of the meeting, absolutely pay attention to our speakers. Absolutely do that. But
If you really have ADD.
But if you really have ADD, so this is an ADD friendly space. So we know that you're doing this anyway. So we just want to focus it a little bit, okay? So go to ideogram.ai, create an account, maybe start with the word that you put in chat or use someone else's word. Just go look at, you can see what other prompts people have used, and make images, and any images that you like, pop into, there's a show and tell channel in Discord. So down toward the bottom of Discord, there's a show and tell channel. So as you make your images, just pop them in there, and then we can all go in there and chat about each other's things. I'll quickly show you this. I did these posters up above. So the learning lab, and it's AI learning, and then the learning lab at the bottom. So not always great, but you just do that. Let's say no AI. Here's one that's like no AI, yes AI. So once you make them, you can click on anyone and you can remix it. And so I can now go in and I can change this, and I can say, let's say poster of bomber flying from World War II, and then I can maybe put typography in here, so you can change different little components. I'll throw illustration in there. I think there's a poster one in here. I'll throw a poster in there. Then I say generate, and so now that's going to basically use that image as a seed image. So it's a very, very basic tool right now. It does, save all of your images in your accounts, see other people's accounts. It's funny, I put bomber in there, but it basically made it a pilot, female pilot. That's cool. And the one on the far left there, it's got AI learning lab, pretty solid. So anyway, how exciting is that?
It's super fun. And I played a bunch right before the salon, and I made this, and I just put the link in for Ideogram as well. So get on there and start playing with it. And please drop, once you're in the Discord under show and tell, under AI showcase, I dropped a couple in. Just drop them in. Let's see what people make. And we've got lots of words, if you need inspiration, that people dropped in tonight.
I think the one I have on screen is just lovely. For the irregulars, this is a lovely set of that. Fantastic. Yeah, so go play. But pretty amazing stuff. And what's fascinating about this, this isn't Midjourney, it's not Stable Diffusion, right? This is just a very, very new company. I don't know how well funded they are. I don't know if it's a couple of college students in a case of Red Bull, or a $50 million company, but
after spending 15 hours this week working on training data for LoRa's and Stable Diffusion, this was delightfully easy to use.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Just put a prompt in and it works. It was delightful. So
yeah, and it's
encourage everyone to play with it.
Even if you only get the word correct, I don't know, 15% of the time, it's still like remarkable. It's
still 1,000 times more often than the Midjourney gets.
Yeah, exactly. So with that, okay, so what I'd like to do is turn the meeting over now to our speakers, and I'm going to start with Sander, because for Sander right now it is 1:44 in the morning in the Netherlands. So I think
it's no problem. It's no big deal.
Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to you. So each person's got about 10 minutes. Would you probably would you be a timekeeper, and then hopefully we can do a little bit of Q&A as well. So Sam is going to be talk about the company that he's recently started that is related to AI, and talk about what he learned. So Sander, take it away.
Sure. Let me just present the screen real quick. If I can help. Computer, work please. Thank you. This share. Okay, now I believe you will be able to see my screen as well. Well, gonna talk a bit about it. Okay, so this is the first version of our website when we were still thinking about a lot of crypto. So as you can see, if we go down on this page to the FAQ, you will see, for example, what are taps and tokens. That's not existing at the moment. So we'll go back up.
So this started as a crypto portal?
Yeah, this was the idea of having our do this quickly, so it's a bit brighter. Let me explain it like this. We wanted to have it as you buy the tokens in, so you can use the tokens to use on your AI apps.
I see. Got it.
So it's like a token-based thing. You only pay for the items that you want to use, and if, for example, you want to use ChatGPT and you want to use ideogram in one place, the idea that we are having is to connect those two, so you can easily drag everything over that you've written in ChatGPT. If ChatGPT and ideogram wants to work with this on this, of course, then we can do it like that. So yeah, let me just say, Tapster is a platform trying to simplify the access to AI applications. Then also get a centralized place for all these AI apps. So everyone is having a way easier time to find the right AI apps, or even the hidden gems that we are trying to find still, like ideogram, because ideogram is a great example of a hidden gem, to be fair. We all were searching for an AI that could make a picture with words. So in this case, it's a great gem that's no longer hidden now. So yeah, you will only, like with tabs, you will only pay per use, or like per thing you want to use, like an app you want to use, and they were not having an idea like, okay, you have to get a subscription yet or not. So it's just the general idea of only pay for the apps you use. Besides that, we're trying to democratize AI even more, meaning the Netherlands, we have municipalities and we are trying to work with them. So we're trying to make it the democracy easier through AI. Hopefully not too easy, because politicians have to do something as well. Besides that, we have to make sure the quality is good, and not only quality, but also the security is good, because I don't want to have my data leaked on the internet. I don't think no one wants. So data protection and quality control is one of the biggest things you have to do. Then about the website, we're launching a new website on September the 9th. So stay tuned for that. Besides that, it's not only for the users. If you are a developer of an AI app, you can also connect to Tapster and try to showcase your AI app on Tapster. This will make sure you get exposure, of course, and there is a bunch of checkups that you have to go through before you will be accepted. Of course, you're not gonna get an AI app that's not very good with your security. So in that case, we're trying to get only the AI apps that are good with security and the rules that we're having on the platform. Yeah, so I had a question from Carl before this chat, and it was what more my thoughts about the AI hype versus the reality. And I think the hype for AI is still going on. we're still finding new gems every time. We're still learning a lot of AI, so that's also very, very good. And we do not have all the knowledge about AI yet. I don't know if we will ever will have the capacity of us to understand AI completely, because it's continuously changing. However, the reality of the AI products will be to it's either the product or the AI app is going to fail with activity, or it's going to be massive, just like ChatGPT. I know Bing is less used, so I think Bing, for example, will feel easier if they don't change certain items than ChatGPT has at the moment. So ChatGPT is also, because it's free and it's having most of the things, it's being most used and it's most known to people. If you say AI, they're instantly gonna say ChatGPT. So it's connected already. So yeah, I think that's one of the things. So yeah, I'm currently I'm the community manager for Tapster / marketing, or whatever I'm doing. I'm there to help out anything. I love to chat with people, so if you have any questions, feel free to let me know for sure. I'm always happy to talk with people. If you
Yeah.
need any help with anything yourself, I can always help, of course.
Great. Yeah, if you have questions for Sander, just raise your hand online if you do in Denver here, so we know. One question I have for you. So it sounds like is this like a membership site? So you're going to have pieces of software in there that ultimately I'll be able to pay and buy subscriptions to the services that are a part of it, or is it more like a directory? Can you just describe what the feature of the site is?
So at the moment, how the plan is to work forward from the new website is, you go on the website, you select an app that you want to use, for example, ChatGPT, and ChatGPT 4 then, because that's the paid version. If you want to use the free version, you can also use that, of course. However, then we want to make sure all these AI apps are put into one place. If you, how can I say this right? It's in Dutch in my head, then I have to translate it back to English. That's always nice, of course. How can I say this the best? So, for example, we want to have all the AI apps on one place that are having paid versions, at least. The ones that are free, of course. That would be very very stupid to call it like that. If you're gonna make free items paid. However, the item with us is going to be, you have all the apps on one page. You can select the one you want to use, and you only pay that. And you can, the idea that we brought up at the moment is, we're gonna make a like a paid version, and if you buy that package or whatever, you're going to have only for example 10 tokens, and it costs 1 token to use one AI app, and you can use it for a whole month. If you buy the 10 tokens for 1 month, it's going to be 1 month completely. You have that 1 token, you can do whatever you want on it. So that was one of the ideas, but it also very depends on what are the companies that made those AI apps. Yeah, what are the costs, of course. So this was just the starting plan, and we can always make a little design of it. If one project says, okay, we're gonna require 2 tokens, then we have to figure out, okay, we can do 2 tokens for that that AI app and one for this or a half token for that. So it varies very much then, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you, I think you'd asked me online at some point that, what did I think of the idea?
Yeah.
I didn't have as much clarity on that. I thought it was more of a directory. Now that I understand that it's essentially a single payment gateway to multiple tools, and I can kind of do it month by month, that feels to me very desirable, because right now I probably have, I don't know, 8 or 9 or 10 or 12 or 40 AI subscriptions that I just signed up for a month and haven't canceled, right? So the ability to just have all that done in one place, I think it's a really interesting idea.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Jane has a question.
We have 5 minutes.
Oh, we have 5 minutes. Okay, good.
So yeah, no, that is the idea indeed of having, or how would you say this now? I have the Dutch word in my head. Oh no,
What's the Dutch
damn
word?
Dutch. Yeah, I would want to say it, but I probably won't say it correct. So
You put
we
the
want
Dutch word
to.
in chat, and we can use ChatGPT to understand
Exactly.
We only had a
That's a
tool
really
to-
good idea. Yeah, no, true that, true. No, just to put everything in one spot, to combine everything in one spot, because like you said, multiple subscriptions for multiple apps, and you're gonna only use it one time to test it out, and oh, it's nothing. Okay, skip it. And maybe it's a great idea indeed to have a trial version. Like you can use it as a trial version for a week, and if you're not happy with it, it's no problem, no big deal. So that's a really good idea indeed, and yeah, so it's like the combining of all the apps on one platform that many people use. So that's indeed one of the items, of course. Like the community is the key in this, because if you're not gonna listen to the community, what the people want, then you're not sure about what kind of apps you want to put on it, of course. So yeah.
All right, awesome. Any other questions for Sandra? All right, fantastic. I think you've well
Thank you.
earned an AI Salon golf clap.
No,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
for
much.
having me.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm still listening in on.
Yeah, and please let us know. I know that you're in the Discord, so as you launch the new site and as you launch these features, let us know. And one quick question before you go. You talked about gems in the rough. Are there any gems, AI gems, that you found that we should know about?
No, I've been trying to say, you asked me this question before we had this call, and I was like, okay, let me search around the internet. What kind of apps are the hidden gems at the moment? And I couldn't find one in particular. And I was like, okay, this ideogram. I was like, okay, is there anything like ideogram that might be better? But nothing. I found nothing.
That's the only one that I know of right now.
Indeed.
Kay has a question.
Yeah, I was just wondering if for content, if you could do as part of your rollout, do those reviews. Like, this is a janky piece of shit, to quote Kyle. Like, this is a really good one. You know what I mean? So like kind of do those daily reviews about tools you stumbled upon would be really helpful.
Yeah. Sure. No, perfect.
Royalties to cut.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, janky piece of shit is trademarked me. Okay, awesome. All right. Why don't we turn it over? We'll come into Denver here. CJ, you ready to talk about all of your goodness?
Why not?
Why not? Thank you, Sander.
Thank you for having me.
How does this thing work? How do I do this thing? How do I?
How do I
Oh,
install
okay.
the internet on my computer?
There it is.
There we go.
All right, never sit down during a presentation. You always have to stand.
Always.
First rule of comedy. All right, so hi everybody. My name's CJ, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about what I am up to today. It's pretty much a generative artist project journey. When this was presented to me to figure out to bring something to you guys, initially I had absolutely zero clue what I had to do and what to talk about whatsoever. None. I was confused, baffled, but honored at the same time. And then I realized I actually do have something. So it struck me. I will talk about a project that I have currently going on. I was lucky enough to be invited to the Denver Black Arts Festival this past summer and selling some artwork there. And I ran into a man who owned a gallery, and he liked the art. We had a nice conversation about my art and what I do AI-wise. And he said he would like to have a meeting with me to talk about a little bit of what I might be able to do for his gallery. So we were talking about it, and one of the things that he brought up was that there isn't a lot of representation of people who look like me in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s cinema. So he really wanted to have some of that representation. So we talked about it some more, and we looked at some of the movies that I absolutely love. Love these, every single one that's on here. And I started thinking about it, and he's absolutely right. There was really no representation of anyone who had my skin color, my tone in these movies. And they're great movies. So we started talking some more, and it came up to the idea of how can we change this? What can we do? So we came up with the idea called Movies in People. And what this is going to be is taking all of these old movie posters, all these movie scenes, and actually inserting people of color into them and colorizing them as well. So we have actual movies with people of color in color. So what I'm talking about,
I'm putting you on camera here. So.
Hi, everybody. So you can see the standing. What we're looking at is taking pictures like from the left there from the movie and actually turning it into something that looks like that on the right. So how do I go about this process? And this is what I want to talk about today. The first thing I do is research. Research. It's always the first thing I do when creating any sort of AI work or any sort of art. And in this case, I wanted to find something that was iconic and something that I could bring to the stage that no one else has seen before. So I started looking, and I found Elvis, the king. So I started looking at all the different Elvis pictures that were out there, trying to get what his vibe is, what is his swagger, what's he look like, his hair, his clothes, everything. And so I spent a good hour doing that until I realized the one image that I really, really want to reproduce is the iconic dancing image from Jailhouse Rock. Everyone might have seen this picture. If you're of a certain age, you know this picture because it was on either your sister's bedroom wall or maybe yours. It's a whole different time back then. I don't know. So after that, I have to go, after I get the image, I know exactly, did all the research. I want to look at models. Now, models are basically the cement foundation for what we do when it comes to AI work. You can get them anywhere. Myself, I love to go to Civet AI to browse their model catalog. And models, for those of you who may not be really into it and everything, are basically the ways that we train the AI to make certain images. So there are models out there that are really good for animation. There's models that's good for Japanese animation. There's things that are good for photorealism, things that are good for fantasy. My favorite one at this moment is called Photon. And Photon is a hyper-realistic model that actually was trained on inclusivity. So we're talking about body shapes and body style. So it's not always just the skinny waist, big boob model. This is something that actually has, like you see there on the left.
Can you just pause for a second?
Sure.
What software is this? And is it are these LoRa models on top of Stable Diffusion?
No, this is actually a Stable Diffusion model. So Civet AI has LoRa's as well too. They also have embeddings.
Base model.
This is your base, your base model foundation.
And that's possible because Stable Diffusion's open source. This company took it and trained their own stuff on it.
Yep, and Civet AI is a community of people who actually train their own models and upload it here for all of us to steal. I mean, use as much as we want.
Well, that's super.
Which model are you using, CJ?
I'm using Photon at the moment.
Okay.
And so I think Peter just put it in there. I can see.
Okay, great. I was just going to say, just make sure you share that.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Peter.
Learn something new every day. I had no idea.
Patently obvious.
So after the models is the fun part, prompt crafting. I'm an old storyteller, so I love telling a good story. And when you're creating an image, you are creating a story in a single frame. So the thing that I've come to really enjoy is learning how to craft that prompt. I like to start off with all the negative things. What are the things I do not want to see in a picture? Things like misshapen hands, extra fingers, only 3 toes, things like that. So I make sure that all that gets into my prompt. Then I work on the positive prompt. What are the things that I really want to see? Well, I want to see an image that's in black and white. I want it to feel like it's the 1950s. I want it to have a fog kind of feel effect from a poster. I think if anyone who saw Evo's presentation maybe a couple of months ago knows how important prompt crafting is. So I will spend at least 2 hours per image really working on my prompt before I even take it to any place to see an image, because this is like the most important part of getting your image going. Anyone can say a puppy in a park, but the more specific you get, the kind of crazier of an image or the cooler of an image you can put together.
I'm feeling like a total slacker right now. I've never spent 2 hours on a prompt in my life. That is fantastic.
Well, then just wait, because the keywords are the key. If you've ever spent a lot of time, know that you have to really get those keywords set. I've been prompting enough to where I actually have a base set of keywords already, so it knows that I'm looking for something that's digital SLR or Fuji X-T3. I have those already set.
I was gonna say, it only makes sense to spend 2 hours without asking feedback if you have a lot of experience to know what to spend the 2 hours on, right?
It's just what you have in your head. You look at the piece of paper and go, here's all the things I don't want, and I review it, and then I review that again before I've even looked and tried to make an image. It's just looking at the words.
Right, but that's based on your experience on what kinds of things these things do that you want to tell it to not do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So step 3, prompt craft. Step 4 is, here's where we get to all the magic. It's experimentation time. I know people use Midjourney. I just saw that beautiful, gorgeous one you showed us today, which I hate now because it's so great. The ideogram. Yeah, beautiful. Can't wait to start screwing with that. But myself, I like to use automatic 111 or 1111, however you want to call it, because as an artist for myself, I like the control aspect. I like really being able to control all the different aspects of my art that I'm creating. So after I've got all the prompt crafting in, I go ahead and throw all the words there into the left-hand side. I get my settings. I tell it how many images I want it to do, how many batches. And then I also use the control map. And control map, for those who have not used this before, is a basic way of giving even more specific control to tell the stupid computer, here's what I want. I call it a stupid computer because my very first graphic design teacher said computers are stupid, people are smart, tell the computer what you want it to do.
Nice.
So after I get everything in there, this is when I said the magic starts, and all of a sudden I start getting images. And I do images for over an hour, and I just keep going and going and going because I want to see exactly what the stupid computer can give me as a base start. And when you're doing this, remember, this is not a failure. You cannot be afraid to fail this, because there's no such thing as failing in art. Art is art is art. So you just keep going until you find an image. So after I find out one image that I go, this is my base image. If that was magic, this is wizardry. Because this is where you have to craft the alchemy. If you don't know Photoshop, it's okay. My suggestion to all of you who want to make commercially viable AI stuff, learn Photoshop. Take a tutorial off of YouTube or any sort of free pixel manipulation program. I take my picture and I throw it into Photoshop, and then I have AI work on the AI generated image already. I have AI doing AI for me. That's right. I am the master. Generative fill, and also every other little tool, the little tweaks and things that they're starting to put into it now. Really cool. But I still, I work with the layers. I work with the coloring. It's all about what was that one visual that I want. Like in this last Elvis one, I couldn't get the AI to have that guy looking down. Saved my life. So that was part of what I have to go in and fix afterwards. And I'll spend another hour on an image like this. So right now we're talking about 4 hours spent just on one image. After the Photoshop, we're not done, because we all know if you've looked at pictures and images, they're pixelated because all of our little AIs do things at like 512 by 768. So if you zoom in on them, it looks really horrible. So I go into the mode of upscaling. And upscaling you can do natively within like Automatic 111, but I like to use a program called Chainer. And Chainer is a block drop coding way of actually upscaling all of your images. It does a ton of other things as well. That's way beyond my pay grade when it comes to like what y'all programmers do, which is amazing. But I've learned that Chainer, with a little advice from YouTube, does this exactly for me. It'll take my little 512 by 768 and will scale that thing up 4 times, 8 times, 12 times. So I have a viable thing that I can put into print.
Yeah. Is it actually? Can we hold off comments so CJ can get?
I want you to 10, man. I'm trying to get to
We're
10.
coming up on 10, so
I can donate some time. I'm going fast. I'm almost done.
Yeah.
I'm almost done.
Go, keep going.
Okay, so after the upscaling, everything's done. This is what I have done. It's been the research, the model choice, prompt crafting, experimentation, Photoshop, and upscaling. All 6 things, about 6 hours in total for one. At the end, I get a picture that looks like this. Now, this picture here is my commercially viable one, which I can actually take to the gallery because it represents and mocks the exact poster that was done before. Now, the gallery owner, when I took him 18 of these, decided I like him a lot. He purchased 10. And these are kind of the examples of what he purchased from me that's going to be in a rotating gallery between Arvada, Denver, and Aurora within the next few months. So this is what you can do with AI. This is what you can do with it if you sit down and you take your time. It is commercially viable. If you are an artist, it is not taking your jobs. We're just finding a way of using the tools that are there to make things that we've never seen before possible. And on that note, I will say, bye, everybody.
Wow. Wow. I'll get through that.
Awesome.
Okay, that was
Awesome,
amazing.
awesome.
That is amazing.
So
The
cool
thing I'm
today.
most amazed about is that you thought you didn't have anything to share. Like, look, a bunch of new tools in there I've never even heard of. So it's fantastic.
It was really cool to see how you use them. Like I mean, that's stuff that I noodle with, but it was cool to see how you did it and put it together with the control net and use the image of Elvis. It was great. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Sandra wants to know how you can connect with Charlie. If anyone has any questions online, raise your hand and I'll get to you. Roger, you had a question.
2 questions now related. First one was, when you're doing the upscaling, is that actually increasing the resolution or is it just smoothing out the pixelation?
The answer to that is yes. Both.
So it's actually doing like microscopic generative fill or something in the.
Yes, it is. It's a 4 by Earth scan is what it's called, and it does that. It fills in those pixels. It makes it bigger and it looks nice. When I've tried printing things before without the upscaler, obviously you see those pixelated things on the side.
But you can smooth out pixelation without actually adding any
It's not
detail.
it's not upscale. It's not Photoshop upscale. It's
The other
generated.
question is there any issue with copyright infringement when you're making these edits to iconic existing images?
This, no. Now, because this is a whole different thing when it comes into the fair rights usage, I can take a poster or an image and do a mock of it and have that be not falling into any sort of trademark or copyright.
That's why you can use GIFs on posts and stuff because you're using it not to earn.
Great.
That's selling in the gallery.
Yeah. Beth has a question.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I missed this in the beginning. Are you do you have your own Stable Diffusion on your own computer? Or are you using something like Think Diffusion or Run Diffusion or?
No, I actually, I installed it on my own computer.
Cool, thanks.
Beth, there's also RunPod and Paperspace, which are also places that you can run. I'll drop them in. If you don't have the power on your computer, there are places in the cloud that you can run them that are not prohibitive with pricing.
Okay, thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, CJ, that was amazing. Thank you. So a lovely golf clap for CJ. Oh, very nice. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so with that, let's go online. Eric, are you ready? Eric Roland, if you're ready, would love to have you talk to us about the project you've been working on. Is now a good time for you?
I'm actually eating. Can I go next?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Bradley's gonna go. I'm gonna turn the camera around to Bradley. So
Thank
you.
you.
Have to stand also because CJ said president.
Oh, no, that's a good idea. I'll turn my camera.
Okay, so Bradley is gonna talk to us about what he's been up to. So he thinks. All right,
Okay, so I previously had asked not to follow CJ because it's gonna be fun. But actually, I think from a content standpoint, it might connect in a roundabout way. But to kind of start off, what my goal has been in seeing AI is figuring out how to build an agency with an AI purpose behind it. And my focus has really been on the future of talent and business in general. And it's kind of gone in a lot of different directions, but at the end of the day, we've all seen these really cool tools out there, but we don't really have a purpose behind using them that might be known from the very start. And so before I start, I kind of wanted to practice something as far as like walking you through maybe some future vision setting and why maybe I wanted to do some of this in the first place. But I kind of want to go through maybe the road ahead and what I see things coming to fruition as far as what AI is pushing us into and some of the challenges that we're going to possibly be facing in the workforce. So workforce changes. I really see agencies are going to be struggling to survive if they don't address their infrastructure and process changes as it relates to talent acquisition. One of the big problems in agencies right now is what you don't see is that their processes are horrible. They are winging it 100% of the time. And it's a very dangerous process. And with AI speeding things up from a rapid development, these processes and these problems in our processes are really going to be coming to light. And so it's a problem that I saw a big need to change. And unfortunately, if a company's been around for 30 years or 10 years, they're less likely to drastically change their processes and procedures. And so I really saw the need to start from scratch. And every process of how the company operates needs to be built with AI in mind. Another big change is talent will begin migrating to contractors as companies will make traditional demands on them in the short term to enforce AI rules and how intellectual property works, as if they're working with 1980s technology that they can claim as their own. This has been a big discussion point around the SAG right now of paying an actor $100 and now I own that model of you to then replicate for future movies. And a lot of companies are thinking this way of how can we take somebody who's retiring and turn them into a chatbot so that that knowledge doesn't go away. And it'll open the door of who owns intellectual property when it comes to the individual and the 30 years experience they had prior to joining a company. So another change there. Workforce changes here. Social media influencers are becoming the new age salesperson. And sales is going to be one of the first positions that'll be outsourced with AI and with other individuals. Leads are now going to start following the individual's following rather than the company. Like when you're talking about a CRM database, those leads are no longer going to be going into a company's CRM database. They are now going to be social platforms that are going to be your followers. And when you go sell new products with different companies, your customer base is going to follow you, not the company. So seeing and recognizing some of those changes are going to also replicate talent becoming independent from the company. Content and media changes are now happening. individuals are now equipped with resources to compete against ESPNs and big studios. If you're watching YouTube, the production quality is increasing. People are having their own talk shows. And if you watch college realignment videos on YouTube at all, you see this 365 sports populate and everything like that. So individuals are capitalizing on their content as a brand. So again, it's something that also pushes talent towards being independent rather than working for a company. Another one, thought leadership is now shifting from articles to video and audio-based content. Everyone here found Kyle on TikTok, not necessarily an article he wrote on a website that you had to do a Google search to find. It was on a platform that was video and audio-based. So a lot of thought leadership. If companies don't take the hint that they need to start migrating their thought leadership into personal interactions with their clients and their following. And then now we're kind of getting into kind of some of the other issues I saw of with a purpose. So rapid action. AI is forcing companies and individuals to act quicker and improve their processes to keep up. So if you don't improve your processes to allow you to act quicker, you're going to fall behind. There's going to be competitors out there that will take that time and use it and utilize it better than what you can, and will beat you to market on every idea that you have. So processes and procedures are going to be very important. Another important factor is going to be human-centered design will become even more crucial. However, processes need to be condensed with AI to support a faster go-to-market strategy. So UX and UI will be very important. But as a UX and UI designer, we are perfectionists. We want as much time as we possibly can. But AI is now going to tie our hands on that. And we need to utilize UX research and AI to help us do that quicker so that we can integrate into businesses' go-to-market plans a lot better without the steps being skipped. And finally, project delays are going to be more costly as competitors are able to respond faster utilizing AI. It goes to the whole point of AI is not going to replace you. People using AI will. And so if you aren't prepared with answering the right questions in a particular order, then you're going to hit delays, and those delays are going to be way more costly than they ever were in the past. So that goes into kind of the mission for the agency that I wanted to create. Is I wanted to help talent grow in using AI and line of practice. My focus is not on businesses. My focus is going to be on the talent, because that is a big problem in agencies right now, is getting talent and keeping talent. So my focus is more encouraging talent and helping them grow and align on processes that integrate AI. I also want to help individuals better prepare for the pace at which we need to work moving forward. And then I want to build an agency that embraces AI into the workflows and helps other businesses do the exact same. So that's kind of the mission. So the path forward that I've been using AI to build this, and I'll use the remainder of my time to kind of walk you through kind of the stages of how I used AI. But really, the phases have been kind of focusing on how I want the agency model to work, focusing my attention on building processes, efficient processes, so that I can build a repeatable process, and focus that on focusing on clarity, not certainty. That's a big thing for me. Is I will take clarity over certainty any day, because if I have clarity, I can answer the next question a lot quicker and a lot better. So we're always going to hit road bumps. We're going to hit forks in the road. If you don't have a vision or a purpose of why you're doing something, you're going to get delayed. You're not going to have answers, and you're going to get stuck. And then it's that focus on content is king. And so some of you might have seen me build an AI tool in 6 hours on YouTube. That will be coming back. But what I learned is that the content you create is going to be your entry point for a lot of individuals and a lot of people to kind of grow with. But then also train talent and entrepreneurs.
So question from Kate, kind of agency, talent agency, ad agency?
It's going to be a digital product agency that focuses on building the talent and encouraging them to be freelancers rather than actually bringing them in the house. So it's really going to be an agency for the talent, but it's not going to be a recruiter. We're going to do the work, but we're going to still team up with freelancers that have been vetted through the processes that understand. So that's really kind of the focus of it.
I have a quick question, and I was really interested in something you said about connecting the influencers to also being the salespeople, and how that ties into the agency model you have with, like, so in a sense, like, is all the talent then freelancers who
have my stamp of approval, almost.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
And are you also working as as the producer who does the creative work and then works with the creative agency, or do you, like, what is your role and how things are shifting and changing?
Yeah. So right now it's a one-man agency that is focused on, we can build all the digital tools and AI tools out there. And the problem that every agency runs into is the talent. And everyone says, I need to hire people. Well, I don't want to hire people. I want to encourage them to be freelancers and support their quality of work. But I want to train them on the processes and procedures that I've built out that include AI, so that then they're ready to go when a project comes in, that they'll be quicker and they can earn more money from that project. So it's a kind of a balancing act of bringing them business as a traditional agency. Like, at the end of the day, an agency really is a company that is advertising to get leads and businesses, and then they hand it over to the talent to execute the work. The only thing that's different in this is that the talent is now freelance, and I'm going to train them to grow and utilize AI.
So before we answer any more questions, sorry, Leah, I just want to make sure, Brad, did you have anything else you wanted to say in your presentation before you leave?
A little bit, yeah. I did.
Yeah. So let's finish.
I'll catch up with you later.
Sorry, Leah.
Okay.
His job is hard.
So the reason I set all that up was really just the kind of level set of the vision and having a purpose. And so this was my purpose. And so to do that, what I ended up doing was using ChatGPT to structure my website. I needed to tell it all this kind of information. So one of my start is I pretty much in detail explained to them what their role was, what my processes were, and for it to explain it back to me so that I could then build a website quicker with content. So utilizing that, it helps me create this, website, which I'm a web designer, so I can knock something out. But I created this in 5 hours, and it has all the needs for a website, and all this content was generated by ChatGPT, which is not out of the ordinary. I mean, you guys have seen posts of how to do this yourself. But again, I utilized it to build that first infrastructure that needed to have a visual presence, a web presence for my brand. Next, some of you guys saw that I tested out a stream of building a process. That was step 2, is create the process and fine tune it through user feedback and just running through the processes and procedures. Next up, I took that process and created a digital toolkit that I'll offer to the talent and individuals that find it useful. This is how you create your purpose. This is how before you start any AI tools, I would recommend following design thinking strategies that help you answer the questions in order of, why am I doing this? Who am I doing it for? What does it look like, and how does it get done? Answering them in those specific order, and I built this tool. Again, this is my background, is in design thinking processes. Again, I'll quickly go through it, but each step used AI to level set of creating scripts, and then finally taking that toolkit and creating an online course for it, which will then turn into talent training. So 1 minute, okay. Finally, the last piece of the puzzle that I did was created my business partner. And so I created a design strategy content manager. This is what I wrote down this is me. essentially. I wrote down an overview of who I am and what I believe in, the skills that I bring to the table, my past experience, meaning, hey, I'm a design strategist, but I used to do sales. So keep that in mind when you're kind of thinking through all this stuff. My work experience, my insights, the influences that I've had and everything. And from that, I built a POBot that is now my content generation piece that I can ask it questions, and now it's me. And I can train it to be closer to me so that I can quickly generate posts.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
And so I now create my content for my quotes that I'm going to put, my top lists, controversial opinions, all that kind of stuff that will then turn into content.
So I have to cut you off. That was, I mean, that was amazing, Bradley. I have to cut you off there. We have 2 more presenters. I want to make sure we have time to get through both of them. So if you have questions for Brad, drop them into the chat.
Yep.
And if Brad, if you can answer those questions.
Yeah, I'll answer
Brad's going to answer your questions in the chat. We're going to move on to the next speaker. So moving forward, if you guys have questions, we're going to let the speakers finish speaking first, and then any comments or questions, just so we can get through
time. Yeah.
time.
Perfect. So first of all, Brad, very impressed, really
incredible.
cool. Very, very cool. Like you and I have talked about this a lot. Like I had no idea you had gotten it this far. And the POBot's fucking brilliant. Like, here's me. Tell me, hey me, tell me what you think. That's fucking brilliant. Anyway, golf clap for Bradley. Fantastic. That was awesome. Okay, Eric Rowland, are you ready to go?
Yes, thank you. Sorry for the delay there.
We all gotta eat.
Yeah, well, I have clients on the East Coast, so my day starts early. So yeah. Anyway, sorry, I can't share slides for what I'm going to do. I could talk about other stuff and share that, but for this particular project, I can't. So basically, what I'm doing is I started working with a bank 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, and what I'm doing is they want to create a benefits consultant from PDF documents. So as with any bank, they own a bunch of other banks and a bunch of other companies. And so different employees have access to different healthcare plans. So what I'm doing is using those PDFs to answer questions that employees have through a chatbot. There's an existing chatbot. It's pretty terrible. It only gets through like 60% of the conversations, so not great. So the idea is that I have access to the employees' healthcare information, their salary, various things about them. And then they can come into the chatbot and ask questions about, what is my out-of-pocket deductible max for PPO premium, right? And ask questions like that. The big thing is I can't lie. So lying is bad. If I tell somebody that your max deductible is $5,000 and it's really $50,000, like that's bad. So the way I've approached this is I've done a lot of PDF parsing in the past, but the main trick here is to get a good response from GPT. So what I ended up doing was extracting JSON or structured data out of the PDF, and then I feed that to GPT with a prompt, and I get back a factual answer. So it's able to consistently understand what's in the structured document and provide factual responses to questions. But here's my other problem is you could come in and ask a question about any of these documents, right? Because you might ask about your prescription plan or your RX plan or whatever. So I actually I used something that Kyle turned me on to, which is like a little knowledge base. I'm doing vector databases too. Sorry, this is like rushed. There's a lot of moving parts. But anyway, I'm going to try to get through it. So I'm using a knowledge base that Kyle turned me on to. And basically what it does is it summarizes each document. And then I associate that with the JSON that I've extracted from that document. And then I can use GPT basically to give me the intent of which document that user is looking for. So the cool side effect of that is if I ask it like, how much is it for a car, it returns nothing because it doesn't know anything about cars, right? So it immediately eliminates answering questions that it doesn't have an answer for. So that's one cool side effect. The other thing is I then take that JSON and then I have a prompt, and then I can get back an accurate answer based on that structured data. And then I took the next step and I've created, I believe the term is semantic cache. But so the idea is I take verified questions and answers and I put those into a vector database. And then if a question comes in and somebody's already asked that question, I can just provide this fact, this thing that's been fact checked to the user rather than depending on real-time interaction with the LLM. So it's speedier, it's safer, and yeah, it's more cost effective. So those are the main moving pieces. There are some other things that I've added in. So I'm doing regression testing on my answers. So I have a set of questions and answers. And then if I want to try it with Claude 2, or if ChatGPT 4 updates, or I want to try it with Llama 2, I can run the test suite and do regression testing. And it's actually just checking semantic similarity between the documents, the output. Anyway, GPT is amazing because it's doing all these things that would have taken me like a billion hours to do before. Another thing I'm doing is I'm generating synthetic data sets. So I'm getting GPT to give me questions based on the documents so that I can precede my data. We're going to work with the customer service people and the subject matter experts to have them validate it. So getting back to good old statistics and, sampling documents. But the whole thing is, I'm handling healthcare data and I'm giving answers about healthcare in the end. And there's a whole legal team and a giant structure on top of this. So, the main thing is, it's not lying. And so like putting all these pieces together to build a system that doesn't return false information has been super interesting. Another thing that I learned was I used Code Interpreter. It's been renamed to, I forget what it's called now, Analytics, whatever.
Some analyzer, data analyzer, advanced data analyzer or something.
Right. But, that was like the key learning for me to get accurate answers was extracting the information properly from the PDFs. Because if you simply turn the PDFs into text, then the large language model can't understand it. And, we couldn't either, right? And so getting the structured data out is difficult. And so I used both Code Interpreter and Claude 2, and I actually had a lot of really good luck with Claude 2. I've tried other extraction formats, but that was really interesting. And then also I'm having Claude and GPT grade each other on their answers. So, given this document, given this question, is this answer right, basically? And so, the whole goal here is to create as much confidence in the system as we can without like massive, human annotation, because, they do 270,000 plus questions, I think every quarter or something. So, humans can't keep up with that level of Q&A. Not sure where I am on time, but I can.
Oh, it's about 3 minutes.
You have 3 minutes left.
Okay. Yeah. There's a lot. Yeah, I mean, I can cut it off and just take questions. I mean,
yeah.
If you want me to dive into any of that, happy to discuss different pieces of it.
Yeah, I think so. It's amazing. What's the what? I guess my question is this: so you get hired by the bank to do this. Did you know you had the solution to not have it live before they hired you?
No, I mean, they brought me in because I've been doing, like, I started my company 6 years ago working with unstructured data. So, like, I've been working with text and images and doing, machine learning, deep learning with them for a while. So, and, frankly, when I saw this giant wave come up, I was like, I stopped everything. Like, I was like, I have to understand this as deeply as I possibly can. And it's just, you know, the prior speaker, like, I really believe, like, I've worked with ad agencies. I'm working with one now, and I'm encouraging them to create a or an AI first agency. So I believe in that, right? I think that, you know, this changes everything, and it just removed all this friction that I had in creating machine learning models and doing things the old way. And it's like, it just makes everything almost effortless.
Wow. Amazing. If you have questions online, just raise your hand, and then Roger, you have a question.
Yeah, so are false negatives basically saying he doesn't know what it really should? Is that considered to be comparably as bad of a mistake as giving outright wrong information, or is that considered okay?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, any misinformation is not okay, but not answering is okay too, right? And so that's what I've kind of built into it, that it won't answer rather than give the wrong information.
Right, I understand that part, but it seems, in my experience, implementing that kind of thing usually has a side effect of causing it to not answer things that it should also.
Well, listen, I'm only 2.5 weeks into this project, and I'm only one human, and so I've built the scaffolding behind all this, and I tested parts of it. Listen, I hear what you're saying. There are going to be a lot of eyes on this. Like I heard there was a meeting with like 25 lawyers in it or something. So it's going to get that kind of scrutiny. But I haven't seen it, but I've only sampled a small percentage. I have only sampled maybe 120 or 30 questions and answers, but it's refusing to answer the right things from my perspective and giving at least correct or no answer on the other ones. But you're absolutely right. There can't be, false positives for sure. But the whole system is going to be scrutinized. And really all I have to do is beat the old bot, which is only 60% effective. And like my task right now, before the rest of the team starts working on this, is to analyze the old bot's Q&A. So, and a small sample size of it is not great, because a lot of it is, give me the number for the representative, right? So I have a pretty low barrier to overcome. So
that's cool.
It seems like it's going well.
Can you talk about when you and I were talking about this the other day, you mentioned there's kind of a thing going out in the world about when you use synthetic data, you can have model collapse, you can have all sorts of weirdness with it. You said you weren't experiencing that. Can you talk just about, how you got to the synthetic data you got to, and if it's working, how it's working?
Yeah, so I haven't, in big companies, it's like things work weird. So when I came in, they only gave me 3 questions to answer from one document. And they're like, can you do this? And, I did that in the first few days. And so, then I'm trying to figure stuff out. And so I didn't have access to all these other questions. And I wanted to try out some of these things, right? Like, can I get factual answers from an array of questions? And I'm not an expert, right? And it's just faster for me to have a conversation with GPT and have it generate sample questions for me. And then I can post-process that and weed through it and figure out which ones are, unanswerable questions. But it's a good test of the system. And, I've been doing something called active learning for a long time, which is where you sort of bootstrapping machine learning models is difficult and time consuming, at least in the past. And so with synthetic data, I can get past like a cold start problem. Sorry, my dogs might bark. But I can get past the cold start problem and automatically have data to work with. And then I can incorporate new data. And if I know which data is my synthetic data, I can start, weaning that down. But it does give me a place to get started. And then I can feed in more data as people pull that in. And there's all types of, there's a great book about it I could look up and put in chat, but like all the principles and how to do that in bootstrap data sets, I have to start somewhere, and it's a great place.
Yeah. So we have to move on to the next speaker. If you have any questions for Eric, drop them into the chat. And Eric, if you could just take a moment to watch the chat, answer any questions. now we can move on to Peter.
Yeah, great.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Lovely. That was really, really amazing. Yeah, it's an amazing project. If that idea of it can't answer wrong. It's like, oh boy, it's ChatGPT. All right, Peter Kaminsky, are you ready for your 10 minutes of fame here at the salon?
I am ready. Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah.
I've got a deck. I just threw it together today quickly. I will share my screen. Hopefully everybody can see that. And I'm also going to hit return in chat. There's a link where you can follow if you open another browser window, you can follow the presentation in that window. So this is mostly a slideshow. It's not a text-heavy deck. What I wanted to cover was, I've got two things I've been working on, two things I've been puzzling for the past year. One of them is, okay, so these image generators are just going to be generating a ton of beautiful images, hundreds or thousands of times more than we're used to. What happens with that? I want to see more cool images, but I don't want to see a lot of dreck. Everybody wants to see more cool images, maybe, but they don't want to see a lot of dreck. Dreck is different for everybody. So what do we do for that? The other thing is kind of attacking the question, how can we help people learn more about what these things are, how to use them? So I'll start with images. I've been doing a deep dive on images. I started with DALL-E as soon as it came out, and then went to Stable Diffusion. I kind of fell back in, and with Midjourney real quick. I fell back into Midjourney 5.2 3 weeks ago, and so probably everybody has something on the computer that looks like this, bunch of random folders full of images. In real life, it kind of looks like this. This is an image viewer. It's like, okay, I've got a lot of images. You can see a tiny gray bar over on the left there. There's a lot of images in this folder. And of course, that was a view of the 4x4s, 2x2s that Midjourney gives you. So if you break them up, it's actually more like that. And more, right? So how am I going to squeeze this through any channel at all to anybody else, right? I did a quick count in the last 3 weeks. These are the numbers I've generated in batches of Midjourney images. That first number in the yellow, 1800. And these are individual images, not the 2x2s. So 1800, I found a way to kind of sort through that and pick 900 of the best ones. And then I kept going. So I've got 900 published. I realized, I just counted this today, I've got the other 3 numbers there add up to almost 10,000. So I've got 10,000 images I want to share with the world, right? Thankfully, with the 1800, I cut that down to 900. So I only need to share like 5,000 images with the world, but how the heck am I going to do that? So what I did was I hunted around for like a free image gallery website thing. I'm big into static site generators, so I wanted something like that. Nothing worked. This ended up being the solution I picked. It's called SmugMug. It actually works pretty well. This is the front page. This is my site, pixelsthesia.ai. These are all mine.
Wait, what's the tool called, Peter?
The website?
Yeah.
The software? It's called SmugMug. SmugMug is built for photographers, really, with thousands of images. Wedding photographers, fine art photographers, that kind of stuff. And you sell your images. They're also the people who bought Flickr out of the kindness of their heart. So I've got a good feel for them. I like them. I looked at a few others. Zenfolio was okay, but I'm liking SmugMug. So you can't see it here, but I've got 900 images. I can there's a different view. This is a sort by its categories, more or less. They call it galleries. This is one category. This is my plants category right now. It's not very full. I've got bonsais and flowers and leaves and trees. So if you click on one of those, this is the glass category instead of the plants category. This is what kind of an individual gallery looks like. You've got one hero thing, and then somebody can click through, any of the related ones. One of the weird things weird thing that happens is this is the image out of this gallery that I really like, but I feel like presenting that one without presenting at least some of the ones that were almost trans, you know, is kind of a shame. So that's kind of the way it all kind of works. SmugMug is fantastically expensive, you know, relatively. Midjourney is fantastically expensive. I ended up putting a price on each photo, so you can come and just look at the pretty big ones. If you want to buy a 4K image, it's $1, and if you want to buy the full res version, which is about 36 megapixels, it's $2. Commercial license is 5x both of those numbers. Still not a big, you know, big revenue generator or anything like that. A peek behind the curtain, kind of. This is what the interface looks like, kind of. Over on the left is not very exciting. I'd have to show lots of these screen caps to kind of get you really to know what's going on here. But over on the left, there's all my folders, and you can see that I've kind of got some of them opened up, and then in each folder you can put galleries and yada yada. So I'm actually really liking it. I'll be able to manage thousands of images the way I want. I'm not sure. I still have a question. My idea now is to go to X, I guess, is what we call it now. Is X and Blue Sky and the other one. And post every day to a separate account, not my personal account, but a separate Pixelthesia account. I'll be posting 1 or 2 images a day that link into the gallery, and yada yada. So all of this, managing a flow of thousands of images. This is a little cheat sheet that I'm putting together and continuing to edit. You can see some crossouts already. Download the images. I've used ChatGPT to write a couple helper applications. I've got one called Ungrid, one called #MJName, one called IPTC headline. You kind of need to automate a lot of this stuff, and so sooner or later, all of this will hopefully be one script instead of a bunch of little scripts I'm kind of cobbling together. One of the things, this big thing with Red here is me running a separate utility called EXIF-Tool, which manages metadata on images. This stuff's copyright notice and sets the date to something semi-reasonable. And then I also run another script, which is harder to do with this EXIF-Tool thing. IPTC headline. I have all these things sorted into folders on my computer, and then I can just drag those folders over to SmugMug. IPTC headline grabs the name of the folder, and then for every image in that folder, it stuffs that name plus number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 into the headline, and then that headline automatically turns into the image caption for SmugMug. Someday I hope to do a little bit more with tags and stuff like that, but I'm bootstrapping up. This is a couple weeks worth of work I've done so far. One of the things I do with all my images in batch, we talked about upscaling. CJ had a great thing with upscaling. The tool chain for me never quite worked. The stable diffusion and plus the upscalers, the AI upscalers that go along with it, never really worked for me. Let me zoom in a little bit on this one. A lot, I guess. This is the adult figure there, and this is the child figure that was next to them. On the left is a raw Midjourney image. This is 1024 by 1024. You can see a thumbnail on the upper right of this whole image, and right there, this tiny little white box is the part that we're looking at of this whole big image. So I guess I actually like 2:1 aspect ratio. So this is actually 2000 by 1000. This is a commercial application for photos called Topaz Photo AI. They've got a separate one that just does upscaling, but this one, it's got upscaling and face rescue, I think they call it, something like that, some other sharpening and things. I'm mostly using the images out of Midjourney look beautiful already. So I'm just using upscaling. You can go up to 6x. this is mind-blowingly cool, and it works pretty well on any image, whatever it is. So you can see, to answer a question that came up before, it's doing essentially generative AI on that, that curve and making it look nice. It found this little highlight here, and it's like, well, that's a highlight. It didn't, it did its sensible thing here with this shadow, and it says, well, that's a highlight that's definitely there. It's just mind-blowing what this does. So I highly recommend Topaz. Another mind-blowingly expensive thing. It's $200 out the door. So I'm down like $1,000 or $1,500 on my AI art stuff. Real quick, I'm also doing ChatGPT. How do we help people learn about this stuff? I founded a company called Path Shift People with 2 of my friends. We're starting courses. I've got a course called Smarter, Faster, Better with ChatGPT. I've run it once. I'm going to run another cohort again in September, October. You can't see this is like a screenshot of kind of what the table of contents looks like. I also wanted to, out of that Smarter, Faster, Better with ChatGPT, I'm doing coaching sessions too. So today I had this great coaching session. Somebody had this column C here is narrative stories that came in out of a big data collection project, and it's got marked up with a lot of metadata that came in through the questionnaire. He and I sat down for a couple hours, and partly with advanced data analysis, partly with just regular ChatGPT writing Python. Can we take apart this thing? Can you grab all the narratives for this particular filter set? Can you transform them into what we need? And it did a great job. So it does things like this. It writes stories like this. And then I went back to, coming out of ChatGPT, we wanted to turn this into Midjourney images. So the prompt here was, here's a short story. I want to create 6 visual images to represent key moments in the story. Here's the story. Here's nice images. I was telling the person I was doing this with, I think it's, I think if I were an art director filming a 2-minute short for you, here's kind of the beats I would try to hit. It did a very similar set of beats for the story. So then we took those back to Midjourney just to see what it would do. It did some great stuff. This is a thing for a school district in the U.S. someplace, and they need to take stories from the field and then bubble them up into management, because management can't see what's going on without somebody telling the stories. So if you can find this, I'll try to share this presentation later. I talked about Midjourney ChatGPT. That's no big news. SmugMug is the image gallery I'm working with. We started with Learn Worlds. We're on Podia right now. I think we may transition to PayHip. The worst part of this whole thing has been trying to find a learning management system that doesn't suck and has enough complexity that we want. And Topaz Photo AI is mind-blowingly cool. So that's me. Thank you very much. This is a cute image I found today in Midjourney. And I appreciate your time.
Wow. Peter, that was amazing. Someone just put in Sariana put in the thing. So many ideas in my head for the presentation. Yeah, that was pretty mind-blowing tonight. I was kind of expecting people to just show up and talk for a few minutes, and you all came like rocking prepared. It was very impressive stuff. So thank you all. I mean, thank you, Peter. That was really incredible.
You're welcome. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, we're right at the end. Leah, good Lord. I came in here, I was like, I'm tired of AI. You were like, I'm tired of AI. Now I'm like, it's fucking awesome.
This group is so inspiring. It's amazing. I come out of these groups so lifted up, so grateful for what everyone brought. I learned so much tonight. It was so cool. And a lot of stuff I've been doing kind of on my own. It was neat to see start to come together, like what CJ said. And I'm really excited about Bradley's company and not just changing how agencies are doing stuff, but completely changing the model entirely, blowing it up, blowing it up. And
what it can be, right? Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's so cool. And Peter, I've been thinking about digital asset management for 25 years with photography, and it's neat to see you putting some tools in place for all the mid-journey generations, which are copious. Yeah.
Well, listen, the chat in these things is always interesting, but tonight the chat seems like it has a lot of good information in it. I'm a meeting or two behind getting these up to YouTube, but I'm gonna make sure to get these up to YouTube. Also, for all the back images, I do have transcripts of all the chat sessions as well, so I'll capture them. I'll figure out a way with Leah to put them up, or Gene, maybe you can help with that. We'll figure out a way to get them up.
And I do want
to important for this meeting.
Yeah, we learned so much. And I do just want to say Discord is on fire with everyone's amazing generations tonight. So thank you for sharing. If you haven't gone to check them out, go check them out and keep adding. We can keep this going.
Great. All right, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a fantastic holiday weekend, and really great seeing everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for having me. Bye-bye, everyone.
Let's go
It was
drinking.
Awesome to speak. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sander.
No
Good
problem.
morning,
No problem.
everyone.
Yeah. Good night.
Thanks, y'all. Bye.
All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Oh, Patty put a hand up. Okay. Bye-bye.
That was great, Kyle. Thank you, man.